Welcome to the assembly video for SWYFT Drive V2. Now, before we get started, I just want to say thank you very much for purchasing these modules and thank you for your business. If you need any help along the way, we offer 3 main ways you can reach out to us. The fastest way is through our Discord support server. Not only is all the members of SWYFT on there, but other teams are on there as well to help you out. The next method you can reach out to us is via the website chat. We usually respond within 5 minutes during business hours. And the last method is through emailing support@swiftrobotics.com. This is the slowest method, but we still usually respond within the day. So let's get into the assembly video. You will receive 2 left modules and 2 right modules in your package. You will also receive a bag of liquids. This blue one is Loctite, and these other 2 are just grease. Now, this is super important. Do not mix the right module with the left module. Everything that is in this box, you should use to build one module, and you should not mix it with other parts. So, I'm just going to choose a right module right now, and I'm going to move the other ones off screen, and we're going to get started. Okay, I went ahead and cut the piece of tape. So now I can open the box and show you everything inside. This is everything that should be inside of your box. This is the new SWYFT motor. We have rollers. This is the planet gear, along with the static block, ring gear, front plate. This is a motor spacer, wheel hub. This is the back block, 2 wheel plates, some tools, bearings kit, and a screw kit. For the first step, you'll need the wheel hub, and you are going to need the bearings bag. Grab the 2 large bearings out of the bag, and leave all the smaller ones in the bag and set it aside for now. What you're going to do is install the bearings into the wheel hub. You should be able to just press on it on either side, like that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take the wheel plates and grab one of them. We are going to install this wheel plate on one side. It does not matter if you install it on this side or if you install it on this side. They are the same. It also does not matter which hole you use. You can use any of them and it will be okay. Next, I'm going to grab our screw bag and I'm going to dump out the screws in it. This bag also contains these 2 smaller bags. This drive attachment bag is used to attach the module later on. We do not need it right now. And this drive spares bag you are intended to keep with you in case you ever need a spare screw. It includes one of everything. You're also going to want to grab this Allen key that we include. And you want to grab the Loctite bottle. Now, a quick note about Loctite is that it's a thread locker. So most screws under vibration will loosen over time. And since robots move quite a bit, the screws on your drive module will loosen if you do not use thread locker. So I'm going to open this up and just use one of the plastic bags to put a little bit of thread locker on the bag. Next, I'm going to find these small button head screws. And with the tip of my finger, kind of like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the threads along the Loctite just a little bit. So if you can see, I got Loctite just a little bit on the threads themselves and nowhere else. And now I'm going to install that screw in one of these holes. So there's 3 of them. 1 goes here and 2 goes there. I recommend tightening it about 90% of the way, so don't torque it down yet. Just tighten it until it gets a little bit rough. Grab another one of those screws, do the same thing, dip the threads into Loctite, and install it. And one more time, we're going to do the exact same thing. So now, after you get the 3rd screw installed, you can go ahead and torque it down. So when torquing it down, I recommend just do it like this. If you do like this, you could strip the screw. So you don't need that much pressure on it. So this is good enough. Like that. Next, what we are going to do is we're going to grab the other wheel plate and we are going to stick it on top. Note that we're not actually going to screw the wheel plate in yet. What we're going to do is add all the rollers to the outside of the wheel now. Now, this is a pretty tedious process. It's definitely the longest part of this, but it's very repetitive and it's not too difficult. So I'm going to walk you through it. For the first one, you can leave the wheel plate off, but you want to take this screw and stick it in this hole, like that. Next, you're going to grab one of these washers and put it on to the screw next. And then you're going to grab the small bearings that are still left in the bag. And you're going to put one of them on. And then you're going to grab the rollers. Grab one of the rollers and put it on. You're going to grab another bearing and put it on. And you're going to grab another washer and put it on. And now you're going to take the other wheel plate and put it on top while aligning it, like so. And lastly, you're going to grab one of the lock nuts and you're just going to screw it on with your fingers. You do not have to fully tighten this down right now. All you want to do is get it on enough so that it stays. So now it can't disassemble itself. Next, we're going to repeat that exact same process for all 8 other rollers. So there's 9 in total. So I'm going to show you 3 of them and then go forward in the video. So we want to put the long screw on, grab a washer, put it on, grab a bearing, put it on, grab a roller, put it on, grab another bearing, put it on, grab another washer, and then you're going to take the wheel plate, put that on, and then grab a nut. Oops. And just make sure the nut is on enough to prevent it from all the stuff from falling out. So while I do this third one, I'm just going to let you know what everything does here. So these washers prevent the bearings in the rollers from contacting the wheel side plates. This gives the rollers, it allows them to spin freely, thus increasing your strafing performance. We include a bunch of extra washers in this kit because we expect people to misplace them or lose them. So if that happens to you, don't worry about it. Also, you might notice that these bearings kind of have to be pressed into the roller. You don't actually have to do that while putting in the roller. You can just leave it a little bit out. And then what you can do is that when you put on the wheel plate, then you can kind of like squeeze them together. So like squeeze everything together. Like that. So now we have 3 installed. There is 9 in total. So I'm going to go ahead and skip forward until I have all 9 installed. Now I have all 9 rollers installed. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to take this ring gear and we are going to find the shorter of the 2 flatheads. So we have 2 different types of flatheads, or 2 different lengths of flathead screws, and we're going to find the shorter ones. And then we're going to take, once again, with our index finger, put just the end into Loctite. And you want to go through the ring gear, like this, through the wheel plate. So look into the wheel plate for which ones have the threads behind them. So like for example, this one has the wheel hub behind it, so you can screw it in. This one does not. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it through the wheel plate, and I'm going to screw it into the wheel hub. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, but you will get it. Once again, do not fully tighten these down yet. So I'm going to take another one of the smaller of the 2 sizes of flatheads, put a little bit of thread locker on it, put it through the ring gear and into the wheel hub. We also provide extra screws, so if you end up with extra screws, it's not guaranteed that you missed something. So with this last screw, you can go ahead and fully tighten it down. Once again, just use the Allen key like that. If you do it like this, you might have a chance of damaging the screw head. Like that. Next, what we are going to do is we're going to take this. So this is the planet gear. It's already installed onto the static block, and we are going to set it into place. Note that this is a little bit tricky. Sometimes the tolerances aren't perfect, and you do have to press on it a little bit. So I'd suggest 2 thumbs pressing on it, kind of like that. If something doesn't feel like it's all the way set down, I would recommend trying it again. It's really easy to accidentally press it down at an angle, and then it gets stuck. If that happens, you can press it out from this side and try it again. But it should be a pretty easy press. You certainly shouldn't need a hammer or anything like that. And you can also just spin it around. You can kind of see here how like flat everything is. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to add another one of the small washers to the planet gear axle here. So it's pretty hard to see it. It's pretty small, but I just added a washer right here. That will prevent the bearing in the planet gear from touching the top plate. Okay, next what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take one of these things of grease. Now you have to unscrew it, and you will have to get some type of scissor or sharp object just to cut the little bit of this top off so you can get the grease. I'm going to do that real quick and be right back. Okay, so now I'm back, and I cut the top off of this thing of grease. Now, we have 2 bottles of grease. You should really only need 1 bottle for all 4 modules. In the second bottle, you should be able to leave closed so that we recommend maybe 3 months. You re-grease it, or if you're having any problems, you can re-grease it. But to be honest, you probably shouldn't need to. So what I'm going to do is just take the grease, and it does require a little bit of pressure, and I'm just going to go around the ring gear. Like that. And that is all you need to do. You do not need more than that. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this front plate and we're going to put it on. How this works is that this screw underneath the SWYFT logo, that will go onto the plane here. Like that. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the long screws now, the long flathead screws, dip them in a little bit of Loctite again, and put them through the countersinked holes in this front plate. So long screw again, dip it in a little bit of Loctite, just to get the end, and put it through that hole. Now next, we are going to grab the SWYFT motor, and we're going to grab this bottom block. Now this can be a little bit tricky to install these to each other. Actually, there's one more part as well. So this is a motor spacer. So you only want to install this if you're going to only mount your module on the front surface. So if you buy the frame kit, I do not recommend installing this. And if you're going to mount from both the front of the module and the back of the module to your plate, I also do not recommend installing this. But if you're only going to mount to the front, then you should install this. I'm going to show you how to real quick. You need to take off the shield of the motor. So basically you just twist it off. And then you put this onto here. And then you put the motor shield back on. Like that. But I'm going to go ahead, and for most people, you do not need to install this. I mean, you can. It creates you a little bit more hassle when you are building. But most people will not need to. So what I'm going to do is that there is a notch on the motor shield somewhere along the surface. So this one's right here. And you're going to want to take this block, and you're going to want to angle it like this. And then you're going to want to straighten it out like that, and then just push it on. It will be a little bit tight of a fit to get over that lip, but then it should be like that. So I'm going to show you that one more time because it can be a little bit difficult. Notch, line it up like this, and like that. Next, you want to take your module, and you want to put the motor inside, and you want to push this thing a little bit, the back block a little bit towards the front of the motor, and it's going to press. Don't press on the motor here. Press just on the block, and it will take a little bit of force, but there you go. I got a good snap, and now the block this block is installed in that bearing. So now all I need to do is just press forward on the motor, and you're going to have to wiggle the motor around a little bit. While you're doing this, I'm also holding these screws to keep them from coming out. But you're going to you have to wiggle the motor around a little bit, just so you get to like this spot. And next, I'm gonna put it drive module like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on both of these screws, and I'm going to turn the entire module, and then it will click. And when it clicks, that's when you know that these screws went into the holes of the motor. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to press on these screws, and if I turn the module, nothing's happening. And then I'm going to turn it, and then they're going to drop, and they're going to click into place. And now I can go ahead and screw them in. Okay, and this might happen to you. They're not screwing in, and that's because they're offset by 90 degrees. So if you're trying to screw them in and they don't screw in, what I recommend you do next is just take it, take each screw out a little bit, rotate the whole module 90 degrees while holding the motor, and then at 90 degrees, they should click in again. And now, there we go. And now they can screw in. You can also remove both the screws and look through the hole to see where the motor threads are. That also works. But I'm trying to avoid the plate falling off and grease going everywhere. So now I'm just going to screw in both of these screws. Like that. So now, when you move the wheel, you should feel a little bit of resistance because it's also moving the motor. Now, it might not feel absolutely super smooth right now, but it should still be pretty free spinning. As you run the module, it will wear in, and it will get a lot more. It will get a lot smoother. Okay, so the last part of building the module is we have to finish screwing in these rollers. So that's where this comes in. You want to hold the nut with this, and you want to screw it like that. So it's important with these that you do not over tighten them. So I'm going to show you a couple examples. So I just screwed this one in, and it might be hard to pick up on video, but the wheel is pretty free spinning. Now if I way over tighten it, need to go more. Now the wheel is not free spinning. So if that happens to you, totally okay. All you want to do is you want to unscrew it a tiny bit, maybe like 1 revolution, and now the wheel roller is spinning freely. So these are lock nuts, so that means you don't have to use Loctite on these. So once again, I'm going to screw it down. Honestly, if you want to make this more consistent, you can go ahead and just screw it down until it's until the screw is tight, and then you can back off by about a 1 rotation. So there you go. So now it's tight, and I'm going to back off by 1 rotation, and now it's free spinning. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'll skip forward. It's tight. I'm going to back off by 1 rotation. Now it's free spinning. You might also notice that the rollers that we have screwed in, they don't move this way at all. but the ones that we have not screwed in, they do move that way, which is why it's important to screw these in. It's also so the nylon in the nut can make sure that the screw doesn't fall out. Okay, so I have 3 of these done now. I'm going to do the other 6 and come back with you. Okay, so now I have all 9 rollers screwed on. So now this module is complete. I can go to my other boxes and I can assemble the rest of these the exact same way. Once again, please do not mix the parts of this box with this box. These wheel plates are matched with the hub, the wheel hub. So the wheel plates are matched with the wheel hub. If you mix right and left, it will not assemble correctly. But the assembly process is basically exactly the same for all of them. What I'm going to do now is show you how to install the front plate and the back plate on if you bought the frame kit. So this is the frame kit, minus the really long channels. And I'm going to grab these plates out of them. And these are extra screws I can just move to the side. You can keep them, put them in a bag, or do whatever you want with them. And out of the frame kit, I also want to grab this. Actually, no, sorry. All I need from the frame kit is we have 2 different plates in here. 2 different types of plates. I'm going to grab 1 of each. So look at this is the difference between them. So I'm going to grab 1 of each, and I'm going to put the rest of them back in the bag. And I'm going to grab the drive attachment parts, and we're going to open up this bag. So first thing I'm going to do is install the front plate. Now the front plate can be installed in various ways, and actually you might not need it at all. We have an Onshape configurator on the SWYFT drive product page, so I recommend you use that to decide what type of robot drivetrain you want. I'm just going to show you how to install the front and back plates onto the module, and then I recommend going on the Onshape configurator to see what type of channel layout you want. So there's usually just 2 types of ways you can install this front plate. It's either that way or this way. Now, depending on where you want to put your channels in the Onshape configurator, it might depend on what exactly you want to do. If your channels are like on the outside, you might want to do this way. If it's on the inside, you might want to do this way. But I would recommend going and looking at the Onshape configurator to see what you want to do. So I'm just going to say you want it like this. I'm going to grab one of these M4 button head screws, and once again, dip it in a little bit of Loctite, just so the threads are in Loctite. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different holes on here. You do not need to use all of them. I would recommend just using 3. The reason why we have so many holes is to allow you to mount this in a bunch of different ways. But for this type, I'm just going to use these 3. Once again, don't fully tighten these down until you have all 3 of them in. Okay, so now we have that front plate installed. I'm going to go to the back of the module, and we are going to install this back plate. Now, you might see that there is a long, or there is a one side that has a bunch of holes. There's one side that has not as many holes. That's the same with this plate. So you're going to want to match these up like that, so that you have the long number of holes on one side and the short number of holes on the other side. So we have short number of holes, long number of holes. If you did it the other way, this would be wrong. So do it like this. It doesn't really matter for the first plate you put on, because you can just rotate it and it will fix it. Okay. So now I'm going to take these M3 socket head screws, very short ones, dip it in a little bit of Loctite again, put the plate on, and you might notice, just a second. I'm going to go ahead and like 80-90% tighten this. I want to mention something. You might notice that these two plates can spin independently of each other. That is okay, and that is intentional. When you put the channels on, I'm going to go grab a channel real quick. When you grab the channels and put them between the module, then that will keep it from spinning relative to each other. So once again, I'm going to grab one of the M3 socket head screws, dip it in a little bit of Loctite, and screw it into another one of the holes. And last one. You also might have noticed that I never refilled the amount of Loctite on the plastic bag I have. You do not need a lot of Loctite for these modules, but they are very, very important that every screw has Loctite on them, besides the rollers. So now you have something like this. This is where I'm going to stop. There's a number of different ways to configure your drive modules. I recommend that you go to the Onshape configurator again and look at it to see where you want to put your short channels, where you want to put your long channels, to determine what type of robot frame you want. If you need help, please reach out to us via our Discord server, our website chat, or emailing support@swiftrobotics.com. I appreciate you for your business. I hope you have a fantastic season using these. Yeah, thank you very much.